Hey guys, this is Chris from AndroidPIT.com. Today we are going to put the Samsung Galaxy S5 and the new LG G3 head-to-head through all of the major categories and see which one comes out on top. So stick with us and we'll see what we get at the end. Design-wise, the two couldn't really be much different. On the left we have the G3, which has the 5.5-inch Quad HD screen, and on the right the S5 with the 5.1-inch Full HD screen. So you can see, despite the difference in size, if you look at the top there, the G3 is only a little bit wider and only a little bit taller than the S5. I think the G3 is a little bit thicker, but you can tell that's because of the curved back. Up top, both have an IR blaster, and no buttons on the side for the G3, but the typical button placement on the S5, power and volume with the dedicated home button. Down the bottom, we've got the water-resistant port for the USB 3.0 on the S5 and an open USB 2.0 port on the G3 with the headphone jack, which is on the top on the S5. If we take a look at the back, we've got the familiar Samsung dimpled plastic, which has a sort of rubbery texture with the 16 megapixel camera and the dual LED flash, the LED flash and the fingerprint scanner. And the rear key configuration on the G3 with the laser module for autofocus and the dual LED over there. Both have a rear-mounted speaker at the bottom. So design-wise, they're both made of plastic with aluminum look edging, but when we go to unlock the devices, we'll see the first of the interface differences. With the S5, we have the fingerprint scanner, which will open that way, and if we look at the G3, we've got the knock on feature to open up and the knock code to unlock the phone. Which you prefer for security reasons or convenience is entirely up to you. And then of course we've got the new look Optimus UI on the G3 and the familiar TouchWiz, which has also gone through a bit of a makeover in the latest version. So you can see the notification shades there. I'll scroll through a little bit. They actually look a little bit similar. Which one you prefer again is entirely up to you. Let's take a look at the app drawer on both. So the LG got an all new icon makeover as well. And both have a dedicated home screen. The S5 has the My Magazine one, which is kind of like a blink feed setup for news and information. The G3 has the LG Health and Smart Bulletin section at the bottom here, which will give you sort of Google Now-ish tips on how to use your device better and things that are happening based on your activities or your app usage or the lifespan of your phone. You'll also get reminders about the weather as well. So, as with the LG Health, we've also got the S Health on the S5, which is somewhere. There it is. And I have to say, when you break it down to the feature set of the software, I actually have to say I think the S5 has the G3 beaten out. I think LG's focused on a lot of smart features like the smart bulletins, smart notices, and a lot of multitasking stuff. I won't go into detail here. You can check out the full articles, breaks down all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like the S5's software features are probably a little bit more integrated and maybe a little bit more successful. With the S5, Samsung has finally done away with the menu button and brought a recent apps button, which we've also got on the G3. And I think you can see that Samsung's clearly won in the design stakes of the recent apps. The LG one is pretty awful. Let's go into the settings on both devices and see what we can see. So the Samsung's gone with a darker interface because of the AMOLED display, which works well with blacks, and LG's obviously stuck with white to make use of the LCD IPS. So both are pretty snappy. The LG is a pre-production Korean model, so it's perhaps a little unfair to judge things based on lag, and maybe even some additional features will come in the final version, but we'll let you know about that at a later point in time. So while the S5 copped a little bit of flack for the fingerprint scanner and the heart rate monitor not necessarily being so useful, there are some really fantastic additions on the software front, like the download booster. And I actually don't mind the heart rate monitor. I actually think it's quite useful if you lead an active lifestyle. On the G3 though, we've got a few gesture-based controls, there's also a new smart cleaning function, and you've got dual windows, some of the other things I mentioned as well. There's also a battery saving mode on the G3, but it's not quite as sophisticated, well actually it's nowhere near as sophisticated as that found on the S5, which I now can't find. Where is it? Power saving mode, there we go. So the power saving mode on the S5, oops, not that one, the ultra power saving mode will switch you to a limited app configuration and go grayscale. If you do that on the G3, basically it's already turned on. It's a pretty traditional power saving mode which will limit the activities of the phone once you hit a certain level. Now, all important stuff, let's take a look at the camera on both. So both have insanely fast autofocus. The laser autofocus module on the G3 is crazy fast, and according to their calculations, a little bit faster than the S5, which, as everybody knows, was lauded for its speed at launch. I mean, they're both quick. You can't deny that. So let's take some photos. So if you go into the feature set, we've got a few more modes, well, quite a lot more modes on the S5. We have HDR on both, and both are capable of recording 4K video. The S5's pared down the preloaded settings in the camera app, and a lot more are available via download, which you can see at the bottom there. But this is pretty much all you're getting on the G3. You've got a dual camera, panorama, magic focus, and auto mode. There may be more coming later, we don't know yet. The magic focus is matched by the selective focus in the S5, but in my opinion, neither of them are very good at all. If we go into the settings, you'll be able to see just where all of the S5 features lie. As I said, there could be some more coming for the G3, but at this point we don't know. In my relatively limited usage of the cameras, I've put them through their paces a little bit, but again, without final software, it's hard to really pick a winner, but the S5 looks pretty unbeatable in camera stakes. The 16 megapixel shooter makes much richer colors. It produces darker but less grainy HDR photos, even though in full daylight both are pretty acceptable. There's nothing to worry about there. Let's quickly flip around the G3 to the front-facing camera. They've also instituted this new, it's kind of like a flash trick on the front, so you'll get this sort of soft pink illumination. I'm not sure if you can pick up the color on the video, but it'll illuminate your selfie subject rather than having a front-facing flash. So if we pull the rear cover off the S5, you can see we've got a water-resistant lining on the rear panel here, which is obviously the plastic, and we've got a 2800 milliamp removable battery with a micro SD slot. And if we switch over to the G3, we'll see much the same thing. We've got QI built, the Qi standard wireless charging built into the cover here, with a 3000 milliamp removable battery and also a micro SD card slot. So there you go, guys. I think it's a pretty close race, but I think I would have to give it to the G3, not because I'm a Samsung hater, as some of you like to think. I actually quite like Samsung. But I think design-wise, the G3 is, I think it's pretty clear that it's better. I think the software is entirely up to you. Well, the user interface, I think the software integration, maybe the S5 has a bit of a win. Camera, yeah, definitely S5. The G3 has some pretty nice additions, but a lot of those you'll also find on the S5. So really it comes down to personal choice. Are you willing to go out on a limb with LG? Do you prefer to stick with Samsung? Personally, I have to give it to the G3. I think it wins in the hardware race just by a smidge, and the things that I value tend to come out in the G3 a little bit more. But it's always up to you, as always. It's your money, so let us know in the comments below which one you think is the flagship of the year out of these two devices, and let us know what we missed, what you enjoyed, what you want to see next time. And until then, subscribe to the YouTube channel, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and of course the website. Don't forget to download the app too. This is Chris. Till next time, guys. Ciao.